our goal is we do nails here. We're a full service nail salon, but we're doing so much more, right? Because honestly, they sell nail polish at Walgreens and you can get your nails done anywhere, but it's the experience and meeting the needs of what people are looking for that sets us apart.
Welcome to Black Businesses Matter, a podcast about why Black businesses matter and the benefits of collaborating and advocating for Black businesses to drive impact. Each episode, we will cover legacy, hope, Black joy, funding sources, cultural shifts, equity, and so much more. We will provide inspiration and action while spreading some joy to a thriving community of Black business owners and leading thought leaders. Black Business Matters podcast is produced by the L3 Agency, a culturally sensitive influencer marketing and communications firm in Chicago, where relationships are our currency, passion is our profit maker, and people are our bottom line. I'm Larvetta Lofton, your host and founder of the L3 Agency. Welcome to another episode of Black Businesses Matter. I'm super excited about our next guest. One, because I get to sit in her seat. Now she gets to sit in my seat. So I think that's how I look at it. Because Monica Abernathy is the founder of Polished Work, which is a nail salon in Chicago. But she's all about educating her clients on nail health. And she has been an advocate in the beauty industry for over 10 decades. So she's extremely knowledgeable and creative. So she's a trailblazer. And I just am excited that I get to sit down and really hear her story. She has launched and created Entrepreneurial, a digital platform that provides students and established professionals with the tools they need to succeed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So welcome, Monica.
Hi, thank you so much, Larvetta. Thank you for having me. I'm glad we were finally able to connect.
I know. And then we're going to talk about Chicago Trend, because you just got some money from that and that you're going to expand. So I'm super excited about that. One of the things that I said, Monica, was that I get to sit, well, obviously for our listeners, we just want to let you guys know we don't see each other. We actually are talking on audio. But I will say that typically we do see each other because I get to sit in her seat. But today, Monica, you in my seat. It's kind of fun, huh? Kind of fun.
It is.
Okay. Because normally I'm telling you I want this color. I want this. I won't sit still. I won't do this. Right? So I think it's so funny that we get to do this. But Monica, for our listeners, I want people to understand your journey. Like, how did you get to open, and I say one of the most successful nail salons, Black-owned nail salons on Chicago's South Side. Tell us your journey. I mean, you have, how many nail techs you have currently?
Well, right now have 6, and we have a couple that we're onboarding soon. So,
ooh, yes.
Yeah, so really exciting. Spring and summer are here or coming, and that's, what's our busiest time. So really,
that's exciting.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
We need the world to know, how did you get there, right? How did you start this nail salon where you have 6 nail techs there working on behalf of Polished Work?
Yeah, so it's definitely been a journey. We started in 2013, and basically my mission was to have a place in our community, so South Side of Chicago, where people could come that were concerned with nail care and could get quality service and results while having a great experience, right? So many times in our communities, we may get the finished result, but the experience, not so much, or we're really not satisfied with how we're treated or the products or even the knowledge, or sometimes things are done and we're noticing that it's more damaging to our nails than actually keeping maintenance. So I wanted to make sure that there was an outlet for people who were concerned with caring for their nails, for being educated about things to and not to do for nail care, and that wanted to have that outlet for relaxation and just connection with the community, with other people, with like minds and things like that.
So, Monica, was this a dream of yours? Like, were you that little girl who did nails, like, for your friends and
I
family? And
did. I did.
ah,
Yeah. So in high school is when I really knew I wanted to do nails. And I took a little while. I was offered acceptance to several high schools. And so I decided I wanted to go to a high school with a cosmetology program. But I took a little while on my decision. So that program was filled. But I still ended up going to that school. And after high school, I wanted to pursue getting my nail tech license before I went to college because I was, always doing nails at home and my mom had gotten me all the stuff. And it was like, man, okay, this would be a great way to make money in school. And my parents, after when you're a child, you want to do everything. So they thought this was just like another fad or another thing that I was going to kind of pick up and put down. So they did not invest in me going to school at that time, but I still continued to do it just for myself and on the side. And it wasn't until after, years later when I really decided to pursue it because of that lack of the resources in our community or the places in our community to really get quality care and results at that time. So that's when I really said, hey, this is a niche that needs to be filled. And I pursued it.
I'm curious, like your family not investing, right? Investing in your vision. They didn't see it. And realizing that they didn't see it, was it because of their thoughts of a nail tech? Was that the real reason? Or
You
did they
know,
see you and seeing like, oh no, we see you as this?
I really don't know. I was an
Mm.
only child and I was getting
Okay.
ready to go to college. And so I feel like all of their resources were kind of like, okay, we're really preparing you to go to school and getting this ready. And I don't think they saw that this would be a career. They probably, like I said, saw it as another thing to do because I had done bowling and modeling and organ and different things that, as a child, you kind of pick up and put down type of things. So I don't think that they felt like, okay, this is going to be it. It was something I was interested in and like to do. But at that time, and even now, it's not a common seen as really a lucrative or a wide, broad career path.
Mm. And I think that's important to be able to point out because oftentimes we didn't see nail salons in communities, right? With 8 people. That's why I said 6, 7 people. Typically you went to a nail salon, right? It wasn't a black salon. It's 8, 12 people. Great. That's what you saw. And if you did see a nail tech, you saw one. That's it. That was it. You only saw one. Maybe you saw two and it was connected to a hair salon. Right?
Yeah.
It was connected to something. So to know that you have a full service nail salon and you also offer other services. And I know that you have 2 daughters. So knowing that your daughters are also work and support the business, how do they see the nail industry now that their mom has created a path for them to be able to work? But then how do they see it today?
So they definitely have a unique perspective. And I remember when we were starting, I sat down with them and told them, the plan. And my youngest, who had been around and traveled and exposed to a variety of different things, even then, I think she was like 7. And so she said, oh, I thought only, Chinese people could do nails. And it was like, wow, that really hit me because that's kind of what you see. And so that really was a catalyst for, okay, I have to change this narrative, even with my child or with others. And so they definitely have a different outlook and perspective on it now. And they've been to trade shows with me and they've been exposed to other Black women who own nail salons and other Black nail techs and nail techs that are celebrity nail techs and different things like that. So, and actually they've both gone to nail school and my oldest is licensed and my younger will soon to be licensed. So she's finished her program and she just has to sit for her board. So they definitely see it as a viable career and opportunities for success and things of that nature.
Wow. So ultimately, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you guys, I think, are creating history because, I mean, the fact that your youngest daughter was like, oh, I only thought Chinese, like the fact that even at her age, and I think about myself the same way, I didn't see that. And so to know that that was also her vision. And so for our listeners to let them know about a polished work, where are you guys in location in Chicago? Like what area in Chicago?
We're in the Grand Crossing community, so we're located at 76 and Ellis. Our exact address is 1000 East 76th Street on the south side of Chicago.
And so I have to just plug this, Monica, because you know that I do. And it's like 2 blocks away from one of the largest, fastest growing churches in the world. So just to give people some clarity, and we actually, Monica, we had Pastor Hannah on here. We had him on a couple of weeks ago. Well, last week.
Oh, awesome.
We had him on here. And so to just bring some clarity to that, and he came on to talk about just being John F. Hannah outside of pastoring. But I just like for people to understand, like, that also is important. And so you guys have been there before the church, right? So
Yeah.
when you built the nail salon, like, what were your thoughts? You have a commercial building, you bought the building. So tell us that process, because you actually own your property, correct?
Correct. So it was so funny. I was actually preparing something for school when I was in nail school, and I was preparing something and I saw the building and I was like, okay. Cause at the time we were looking at other locations and we were having issues with zoning. Like Chicago and zoning is a whole beast, right? I'm not sure if you've ever had to deal with it.
It is a beast. Say that word.
So found this place and it had been updated and renovated, like new roofing and all of that. And it was zoned for like anything pretty much, right? They wanted to make it more marketable. So it was already zoned. So it was like, oh, this is great. So we acquired the property and not even knowing much about the area and knowing or having any idea that the church was going to be there. We found that out after the fact, but I really did like that there's a park across the street. So I don't really have to worry about what's going to come there, like if it's going to be something that attracts a different kind of crowd or anything, because it's a park. It's going to be a park, and it's going to be monitored and different things like that. Then later we found out that the church was building there. And so it was like, oh, okay, that's great. And so far we are looking to expand to open on Sundays. Right now we're only open Monday through Saturday, but soon we are looking to open on Sundays as well, so that people that are visiting the church can also stop by and get their services done too, before or after church.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yay. You heard it first on Black Businesses Matter podcast that it's coming on Sundays. I just wanted to just throw that out there. So
absolutely.
That's it. So Monica, I do want to ask you this question, because this whole season we've been talking about Black wealth. We've been talking about that. We've had several guests to really talk through, in creating and why it was important, because for you, you have a real estate play and you have a business, right? So you own the building. And so from that standpoint, was that the original vision? Did you grow up knowing what Black wealth looks like in that space of real estate and business?
Not really. My parents owned property, so I was familiar with that aspect, but not as it directly relates to wealth and generational wealth and things of that nature. It was something that I just kind of grew up with. So it wasn't unattainable. It was kind of like what you do, but I didn't know exactly all of what it really means for you in the future generations.
And so, because we've had talked to some people that have said that. They're like, I didn't grow up in wealth and I learned it. I became a student of it. And I think it's so important for, listeners to understand that when you see people with business, sometimes you see the finished product, but you don't know the pain and agony that got them there, right? And so realizing that, and so in that space of when you think about it, and I do want to ask this question because we're going to talk about you getting money with Best Fund, you having this property, do you find that it was a better decision to own the property?
Absolutely.
Than to lease? Okay. I knew you would say that. And what are some of the benefits that you believe that if someone's looking, to expand a business and purchase a building, what are some things that you could share from that space as well?
So primarily when we first looked into purchasing, the main thing is I had known that there are times where if you are in a leasing situation, like, of course, rent can fluctuate, but sometimes landlords kind of prey on you. If they're seeing that you're doing well, then they'll adjust rent based on how they feel you're doing, not necessarily based on fair market rates or anything like that. And they have the right to do that. And they kind of have you tied, because if you do have a popular location or you're doing well, you're less likely to pick up and move your business. So they kind of have you in a tight spot. So from that angle, that was one of the getting things that I saw as a benefit. Later on, because I own the building, I was able to expand. We have a garden out back that I use as a rental venue. We also host events out there as a community resource as well. So we host June 19th coming up. We're going to have a extravaganza on Ellis. So it'll be a community event. Everybody can come out and enjoy vendors and fun and all of that. So that may not be possible if I didn't own the property. And then most recently, just the impact of COVID and seeing how people who lease spaces, like in COVID, they still had to pay their rent, even though they were not operating, and landlords were not really yielding on that. And there were things that were still trying to be figured out as to how people would get any type of help or assistance. But at first they still had to pay that. So being that, I own the property and there's also a tenant that was not impacted, fortunately, I'm still getting revenue from it. So even though we weren't in operation, there wasn't that stress of having to still pay the rent or not knowing how that was coming about.
That's wealth building. I mean, I just think you really created a pathway that helped you to become pandemic proof, right, in that space. And I think that's important. So if you're just listening in, I want to reintroduce you to Monica Abernathy, the founder of A Polished Work in Chicago. She is in the Grand Crossing community. Monica, please tell our listeners where they can find you. I know you share your website, social media handles.
Absolutely. So our website is www.apolishedwork.com. And we are on all social media platforms as A Polished Work, so Facebook and Instagram. And we also have an app that you can download. So whether you have an Android or an iPhone, you can go to your App Store, Google Play Store, and search A Polished Work. Download our app and you can make your appointments right from there, update your appointments, see availability, and also connect to our social medias from there as well.
Awesome. I wanted this, and I want to make sure people say A Polished Work, not A Polished Works. Okay, people.
Right. So polished past tense and no S on work.
Yes, because that's what we do. And so as we're building on this place of Black wealth, I really like that you have this real estate place. Let's talk about Chicago Trend, and that you were a recipient of how much? I know, I should know, but you tell the people.
It's 15,000.
15,000 that you presented. And so tell us that process and what that money is going to do for A Polished Work.
Okay. So the process was absolutely amazing. Even if I had not been awarded, just the process, I was able to work with the coach and we were able to kind of dissect the needs of the business, and he got to know about my business and where we were and where we wanted to go. So actually even preparing the pitch presentation and going through that was just amazing. And then actually knowing that the investors behind it were also Black and really kind of putting their money where the mouth is, so to speak, and really interested and invested in businesses in the community. So that was just amazing as well. And the funds that are received, I'm going to expand to bring on additional techs, as well as, really to build out the space a little more to accommodate those techs, as well as create a digital platform so that, again, a thing learned in COVID is that you have to have some other type of revenue source other than face-to-face revenue. So we're looking to expand our e-commerce and make it where we have products and merchandise that came online from anywhere.
I mean, Monica, I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, woo. I mean, A Polished Work is really becoming a global brand. And I think that's important that a nail salon in Grand Crossing community is wanting to position themselves in that space. And Monica, that's been your dream, right? I mean, I've known that from you, and just to see you actually realize that dream and see it happen is actually what brings me joy, because I get to witness it and see it. And I'm excited about the growth of A Polished Work, because honestly, guys, it's hard to get in there. So we're going to be honest with you. It's hard to get in there, okay? So the fact that she's able to get more nail tech so that she can accommodate more. And I say this, and I've said this before on other podcasts, when I worked with P. Diddy years ago, he said this statement, the hottest event is the one that people can't get into. Okay. So this is the hottest nail. This is the hottest nail salon. And so I have to share that because that creates some level of exclusivity, right? And so people want to feel that. So don't ever apologize, but that's a good problem to have. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I do want to talk about you as a business owner for now. You've been in business since 13, so now you 14, 15, 16. What are you at? 10?
No, I'm at 8 years. We're 8 years.
8 years. Okay, 8 years. And so in 8 years, tell us, what are 3 tips that you believe people should really inherit? Whether you have a business, wanting to start a business, or perhaps you're currently in business.
So I would say one of the things that is our goal is we do nails here. We're a full service nail salon, but we're doing so much more, right? Because honestly, they sell nail polish at Walgreens and you can get your nails done anywhere, but it's the experience and meeting the needs of what people are looking for that sets us apart. So really finding your niche, finding the need that needs to be served, filled, focusing on not necessarily the product or service that you offer, but why that product or service is needed and really catering to that aspect. Next, I would say is being consistent. So things, of course, are not going to be easy or you may not see results right away, but just staying consistent in your purpose and your why and doing the things that you know or that you feel will bring that result, even if you're not immediately seeing it. And then lastly, I would say I don't necessarily focus on what others in my industry are doing or other nail salons. I really look to what bigger businesses and global brands or other corporations are doing and how people are responding to that. So for instance, like our apps, for as example, not a lot of nail salons have apps, but I know with our clientele, they're busy professionals on the go. Sometimes, they have meetings to move around or they need to make their appointment, at their convenience, not necessarily like when we're here or during our hours. So an app gives them the opportunity to be able to look at our schedule, to book that when it's convenient for them, to be able to change that appointment if something changes. So it's really interactive. Other businesses or bigger brands more likely, more so have apps than nail salons, but it's something that we have that has really been beneficial and really set us apart.
I totally agree. I will just want to add this little plug as we close is that even your points, your rewards, like you know so much. I love that. Like you come up and you're like, I can use my points to make my appointment. You don't know it. So I think it's a nice surprise. It's like a surprise and delight.
Yeah. And that's one of we have a large teacher clientele. And so in the summers, like they'll come throughout the year. A lot of our teachers, they have reoccurring appointments. So they have, every 2 weeks they're here and they pay for their appointments during that time and they acquire their points. And then in the summer, when they are off work, they still want to keep their nails up. So they use their points for that time when they may have less income or they need to kind of float until the school year starts back, but they don't have to sacrifice their self-care. So that's definitely one of the things that's been a benefit.
That's awesome for educators. All right, Monica, I love that. Those educators they have to be restored in the summer because of the work that they do. So that's important that they are there for the sake of themselves. So
yeah, and then just for our general clientele too, I never liked the fact that, like Groupons or other things, like when the company decides when you get a deal, like, no, I want to decide. Maybe I'm okay this week, but maybe next month I got some stuff going on and I might need to save a little bit next month. So this way our clients get to decide when they need to spend a little less or they need to kind of have a cushion to support, or maybe even it's just, hey, I want to treat myself and I don't have it right now. What can I do?
I love that. I love the rewards program. I think it is dynamite and I love it. And so, for every guest, and I just want to remind everyone again, Chicago Trend, Monica was a recipient of the Best Fund, which is done a second round. I actually sit on the committee, but I want to just let everyone know that Chicago Trend was Lanier Richardson. If you haven't heard that episode, you really should, because he talks about what if Black businesses were overfunded? So he's been passionate in making sure that Black businesses are funded, and he's actually been a supporter of Black Businesses Matter. So check out chicagotrend.org if you are a business looking for that level of investment. Definitely looking to them as a resource and as a funder and investor. So I just wanted to share that really quickly because what Lanier is doing in Chicago has just been dynamite, but he's also doing it in other markets, which is why we get to ask this question of why do Black businesses matter?
The fact is, aside from the government, the Black businesses, they employ Black people the most. They're the second largest employer of Black people outside of, the government is first because there are so many entities, of course. And we are, it's kind of like Black Wall Street. When we support one another, it helps us all to grow. It builds our wealth within our community.
And it's important. I'm so glad that you brought it up because we said that, Black businesses are the largest employers of Black people because they are constantly and over time. The problem too, Monica, is that the issue is that value wise, we are not seen because right? A company can pay a person more money, right? But there is, and we got to decide what is value for you, right? And understanding that. And I think that's the real reason we wanted to do this because we found that there are so many Black businesses that are creating legacies that your nail techs that work for you get to pay for their children's education, buy a house, buy a car. We don't realize the impact that Black businesses have. So I'm so glad that you brought up the Black Wall Street. The other thing I do ask this question, Monica, because we realize that in our space of building Black businesses, we need to talk about this idea of joy. We talked about Black joy as a currency. And so we asked this question and have been asking this question from the moment that I started this was, what brings you joy?
Loving what I do. So every day is different and knowing that something that once was an idea in my head is now something that people look forward to improve their day, their outlook, their week, anything. Like our clients may come in and have a rough week, but they've really been looking forward to their appointment, So just something that was an idea and that I worked and put into existence is that for people and gives them that little hope or just that little motivation or inspiration to, go on or to do different or, continue to strive in whatever areas they are seeking to do that in their lives.
That right there, and you are caring for others. And I think that's so important. Now, Monica, do you care for yourself? You care for all these people. Do you care for yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe not my nails all the time.
You're like, don't check me for my nails. Don't check me for my nails. Yeah. But I do take great care of myself. That's good, Monica. Yeah. What are some things that you take care of?
Oh, I get my massages on a regular basis. I get my hair done, and my stylist, she's also a client. So we kind of sit in each other's chairs. So it's that mutual experience. So those are my two go-tos.
That's good, Monica. So if you see Monica, the founder of A Polished Work on the streets and you don't see her nails done, don't judge her. She said it already. Okay? Don't judge her.
I tell my clients all the time if they do say something, I say, oh, well, you know what? You should have told me you cared about my nails. We could have canceled your appointment and I could have done mine.
That is so funny. So as we wrap up, how can they find you? Please remind our listeners how to get in contact with A Polished Work.
Yes, our phone number is 312-715-8870. But the best way to reach us is online on our website, www.apolishedwork.com, or by downloading our app in your Google Play or App Store. And that's just under A Polished Work, no S. And we can be found on Facebook and Instagram or Google at A Polished Work.
Well, guys, there you have it. Monica Abernathy of A Polished Work, who we are just grateful that she is here with us, that she's able to share her story of getting more money and seeing expansion. So if you are in Chicago, check her out, go in there, purchase some products, even book a service, whatever you choose to, or maybe you want to have an event in the back, whatever that may be. Check out A Polished Work. Check out Monica Abernathy. She is changing the world and helping young people to really build a flourishing nail tech business. I'm really happy and proud of my sister to be able to do what she does. And I just see a second location, Monica. I see a second location. I see it. Okay. I know you over there like, Larvetta, no. But I see it, Monica. I see it. So I just want to thank you for listening to another episode of Black Businesses Matter. Keep tuning in and keep sharing more of our episodes so that you can hear about amazing businesses that are thriving in Chicago and all across the country. Again, thank you for listening to Black Businesses Matter.
Thank you for joining us this week on Black Businesses Matter podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen so you will never miss a show. You can also follow us on social media at the L3 Agency and at Larvetta Speaks. If you love the show, leave a rating so that we can continue to bring you impactful episodes. You can also take the pledge and order our merch at our website at thell3agency.com. THEL3agency.com. Thanks for listening and see you next week.